Hello and welcome back to Mind Your Business. I am your host, Tanika Steens. And tonight I have certified life coach, inspirational speaker, and publisher, Koffe Brown. What's the love of your life? For speaker, certified life coach, and healing practitioner, Koffe Brown, it's empowering others to heal. A proponent for living life with passion and purpose, Koffe's story is not much different than most of her clients. With astounding clarity born from years of intensive work, Koffe has unraveled the impact of freedom in her life and recognized that her life's purpose revolves around supporting others in their journey to inner peace, wholeness, and love. She focuses on shifting relationship patterns, raising self awareness, and channeling energies back to its true essence, one of the divine spiritual love. Driven by her mission to promote holistic growth, Koffe creates unique, powerful, and high energy experiences that delight others to take hold of their vision and put it into action. Embodying the essence of her core message, free your mind, the rest will follow. Koffe continually fulfills her passion for serving others through coaching, writing, workshops, and seminars. Her books are an in depth look at intimate relationships and how to prepare others and how to prepare ourselves to give and receive love from our mates with confidence and courage. Coach Koffe is a number one best-selling author, and tonight she is my guest. And so I am glad that she has had time to come out and talk to us. So if you get the opportunity to watch this live, good for you. And if not, you might want to watch the replay so you can get some good information and some nuggets to carry along with you. Without further ado, we will welcome our guest, Coach Koffe. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Hold on, here she comes.
All righty.
Hello.
Hey. How are you?
How I'm good. How you doing?
Doing absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you are so welcome. Thank you for coming. You look so beautiful, and I'm just glad that you can grace us with your presence. So, if you would tell us who you are, what you do, and why you do it.
Well, who I am is a loaded question. I say that all the time, but I consider myself as fluid. When I say fluid, I mean that I adapt to whatever receptacle I'm placed in, kind of like the concept of water. You know, water adapts to wherever it is located. And so I call myself fluid. That's who I am. What I do is I really help people to really see themselves in the best light that they possibly can, without going overboard or being intrusive. I try to help people to see not what I see in them, but what they can see in them. And so that's what I do, and I absolutely enjoy it. I just got done publishing my second publication for this year, and we did make it to number one. And I was able to take 11 other incredible leaders and contributing authors with me to that finish line. So we have successfully published 12 authors and made them number one bestsellers.
Wow.
Yes, ma'am.
Congratulations. Congratulations. I
Yeah.
said tonight we are going to show what Black Girl Magic looks like. So, where did you get this magic from? Where did you learn to be this person that you are to be able to shine that light in others?
You know what? I got the light from being in the dark. I think a lot of times people don't realize that, but you don't get light until after you've been in dark. So you get
Mhm.
light from darkness, and anything that will grow, it has to develop in the dark. And so that's where I got the light from, being in the dark and springing forth into light. So, going through challenging times, adversities in my life, facing calamities and chaos and dealing with all type of issues and challenges in my personal life and my professional life and my upbringing and all those things, just darkness, being in dark places. And at some point I had to make a decision to step into the light. And with that comes extreme change, where you have to embrace your truth and you have to be good with whatever
Mhm.
has transpired and not allow that to withhold you from becoming the best version of yourself for sure.
Absolutely. I really feel like you can't help others unless you actually know how to approach that problem that they're having. And so if someone has a problem and they come to you, I'm not going to go to an eye doctor if I have a skin problem. And so I'm going to go to the person that's the expert. And usually how you become an expert is by going through something that you can speak to. So at what point in your life did you realize that, okay, this is who I am, this is what I need to do, and this is how I can help others?
You know what? That journey took place through years of counseling. I tell people all the time, my mantra is get on the couch. Get on the couch. Don't be apprehensive about getting on somebody's couch. We all could use somebody's couch. Even the people with the couch put people on the couch, and they on the couch too. Everybody need to get on the couch.
Mm-hmm.
No, nothing wrong with
Mm-hmm.
that. There's nothing wrong with getting the help that you need in areas of your life where you may feel frail or ineffective, where you're not growing, where you're finding yourself continuously repeating the same type of behaviors and things like that. You need to get with someone that can assist you and help you to navigate through those character flaws and defects, and be open to transforming from where you are and who you are to becoming a much better version of yourself. I mean, some people don't even see it. They don't even know they need to change. And
Mm-hmm.
by meaning that, I don't mean that they don't know in totality what all they need to work on. And so with someone else looking from the outside, non-biased, that they don't have a bias attached to their relationship with you, they can help you with that. And that's where my journey began, with getting counseling, with going and diving into content and just digging and pulling all the pieces apart to get to the core of why things were happening the way they were happening, and the ripple effects and all this other kind of stuff that was transpiring, and just get all the way down to the common denominator, what factors caused all of these other things to happen. Like you said, you start feeling a weird pain somewhere in your body. You can't go to a different type of doctor to ask them to resolve an issue for this particular pain that you're feeling in this particular region of your body, because they don't specialize in that. And so I had to
Mm-hmm.
be open enough to be transparent, to go to the type of therapist that could help me in that particular area, not trying to hide from what my truth was, but embrace the truth, deal with all the facts surrounding the truth, and purge away what was unnecessary. It's like the scripture that talks about chewing up the meat and spitting out the bones. That's relative to everything in life. We need to chew up the meat and spit out all the bones. And so that's something that we all have to
Absolutely.
learn to do. And counseling will help people do that. And you can't go to somebody, from your Uncle Ray Ray and Pookie and all of them. You got to go to a real doc. Please don't go. And I honestly, just being really transparent and real, I know a lot of us that are brown people, we are believers and we love the Lord. And so we try to go to churches for guidance and counseling, but they're not equipped to handle a lot of the adversity and challenges that we may be facing. Some of it is not of a spiritual nature, although it is a spiritual nature because we are spirit being
Mm-hmm.
having a natural experience, but sometimes we need to tap into the natural issue that you're having in order to help
Mm-hmm.
get to the best version of yourself. So with me, my journey began in intense counseling, and I would recommend it to everybody. Get on somebody's couch. It's okay.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree. The Scorpion Doll says that's true. There's nothing wrong with professional help to get to the core. And a lot of times with us brown people, we like to sweep stuff under the rug and we like to turn our head and we like to call it something else. And when I was growing up, they just called it bad. You're just bad, or you just got an issue, or they just got an attitude problem or behavior problem.
Right.
But where does that stem from? And why don't we look deeper into that root cause of that problem? And then we can possibly break some of these, I call them generational curses. I know we've heard that before, but to break that. And so it's a stigma, it seems like. So I'd focus on mental illness and mental awareness and mindfulness. And so I think they all go hand in hand, because when your mental and your intellect is off, like you said, I am a minister, but I don't care how much prayer that I do, the Lord has given us tools to equip us to get better, and He wants us to be better. And so if there's help there, He's made it possible for people to get the knowledge and the wisdom to be able to seek to look at what the brain does and to look at how it works and all these things. And so if you can go and talk to someone that understands how those things work, they can help you. And then that spiritual and, like you said, the nature can come together, but you have to be willing to go and seek help. And a lot of times we are too afraid to do so because we're scared to get labeled as something. And what we don't understand is their words. And when we get to understanding what it truly is and we can identify with it, everybody has something that they can sit on the couch for. Everybody at some point. So why do you think that it takes us longer to identify and address our internal issues as brown people, to seek help and to seek professional help at that?
Well, in our communities, it's taboo, it's still taboo to this day. And to say, oh, girl, girl, Lucretia crazy, right? And that's what you
Mm-hmm.
hear. That's the ideology or the terminology, if you will, that you'll hear in what we call the hood. Even in the
Mm-hmm.
suburbs, it's, for brown people, it's still our hood.
Oh
And you'll
yeah.
hear, concepts like that. Oh girl, she take pills for it. Girl, she real crazy. She get a check, child. And it's taboo. It's still not acceptable to have issues. The same way we go to a physical doctor, we need a mental doctor. So
Yes.
nothing wrong with that. It's a part of human makeup. The mind controls everything else. Even from a biblical standpoint, it talks about the mind. We are what we think about. We are what we are. The thoughts control every single thing that manifests in our lives. And so when our minds are not healthy, our life is not healthy. And that is something that we have to be okay with. And I don't have to feel inadequate or like I have some
Mm-hmm.
problem where I'm not accepted. My mama calling me crazy. My cousin calling me crazy. Whatever. Call me whatever you want, because I'm gonna go get the help that I need. I'm gonna be healthy, whole,
Yes.
and I'm gonna live a holistic, healthy life. While you sit over there and you do what you're doing, and you still 20 years from now with the same issues, challenges, and adversities, I'm gonna be an overcomer. And once I overcome, then you're gonna be looking at me saying, "Oh, she's sure doing good now. You see, yeah, she's doing real good. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah." They say she went to therapy. Nothing wrong with that. It's a
Mm-hmm.
natural process of life. There is no human being that does not need assistance in some area. I don't care who you are or what it is that you do or how incredible you may believe you are. Everybody needs somebody. No human is an island. No human is an island. We all need someone to be able to lean on. Life will eventually happen. Adversity comes to everybody. The rain falls on the just as well as the unjust. There's no
Mm-hmm.
one exempt from being human. So in those moments, we have to embrace getting the help that we need. Most definitely.
Absolutely. So talk to us about your holistic growth and how you make that happen for your clients.
The main thing that I do with people as far as holistic growth is helping them to understand about the power of consistency. It's a lot of little steps to get to the big result. It's not a bunch of big steps. You'll never get there with a whole bunch of big steps. For holistic living, for holistic health, it's every single area of our humanity. Maslow's hierarchy of needs talks about the 7 areas of what we need to become healthy as humans, the basic human
Mm-hmm.
building blocks. And when one of those building blocks are not in place, or they've been compromised, or there's a challenge in that area, then it causes other areas to become frail as well. And so what I do is I help people to understand the power of being consistent. You gotta be consistent. If the consistency starts with just getting up at the same exact time every day, you gotta start somewhere. And so that's the main core. You got to give people a little bit of something to create a big result. It's got to be little building blocks. And that's what I love about holistic approaches, is that even with holistic medicine, if you ever know anything about holistic medicine, it's a longer process to get to the healing,
Mhm.
because it's not using chemicals in the body. It's forcing the body to respond naturally. And so that's what I help people do, is to help them to respond naturally without having them to jump some type of crazy hurdle that they can't even fathom in their mind being able to do that. It's like going from having $5 in the bank to having 2 million. You're not going to know you're not going to be able to make a quantum leap like that without some steps
Mhm.
in between, and it all starts in between the ears, whatever's going on in the mind. And so I help people to get to that space where they identify the recording. You got a recording in your head, and it plays all the freaking time. They say we have, what, 170,000 something type. I mean, it's an astronomical amount of thoughts that go through our mind on habitual. I mean, like, it's so much information that passes through the journey of our thoughts, and we have to know what to entertain. And once we understand what to entertain, we can ascertain and we can execute and we can do all the strategies necessary to get to the resolve that we're after. But it's baby steps. It's baby steps. And that's the key to holistic health. I went through the process. It was long, it was some years for me. But for most people, you got a good 6 to 8 weeks to kind of get them on a trajectory to keep moving forward from there. So that's what I help people do. I try to get, 6 to 8 weeks. I don't like to go any longer than that, because, coaching is not the same as counseling. Counseling can be for
Mhm.
extended periods of time, but coaching is not designed like that. Coaching is, I'm gonna get in the trenches with you real quick, give you these structural alignings that you need to embrace and start incorporating into your life on a habitual basis. You check in, we get on here and we figure out, hey, is this working? If it's not, let's tweak, move to the next level. If this is not working, let's tweak, move to the next thing. And so I help people to just start getting on that trajectory, consistent trajectory. And then as they start becoming consistent, then they start to see the manifestation of what they've been after, and understanding, oh, this is how I get to lose those 10 pounds. Yeah, because
Mhm.
you can't eat a burger at 9 o'clock every night and say, I'm going to lose 10 pounds from the ministry. It's not going to happen. You can't do that. So you're going to have to refrain from the burger ministries at 9 o'clock at night. It's just not good. Okay. So
Mhm.
helping people to see the small things. People can embrace small increments of change, and they can respond well when they don't have to do something extremely drastic. And that's the key to helping people to become holistic. Is just small little things. Let's tweak these little things. Let's not try to worry about some big thing. Let's do little building blocks to get the result you're after.
Right. So the clients that you have, how do how do they come to you? Like, what type of clients do you work with? What are they looking for? What are their outcomes they're searching for?
Most of the time, if you ever notice, you attract who you are. You attract who
Mhm.
you used to be. You attract what has transpired in your life. You attract everything that is a part of your being. And so most people come to me have had some type of trauma in by way of sexual stuff, where they were assaulted as a youth, or something along those lines, and they just can't seem to find balance relational wise. They don't understand why they keep running into the same person in a different body temple and things of that
Mhm.
nature. And because I lived through that as a child, my first encounter with a man, I was my own family member stole my virginity. So you can imagine trying to even understand life after that. So after going through that and then going through it again, getting assaulted in high school and then having a child as a result of an assault, I had years where just went through a horrible, horrible time as far as that was concerned. And then I just kind of woke up one day and made a decision that I was not going to be a victim. I was going to be victorious. And then I was going to be in a position to add value to others after that. So that's what ends up happening. People come to me that have had to deal with that, have had to deal with extreme challenges like when I was married, as soon as my husband and I dissolved our marriage, he passed away right after, like literally months after he passed away, leaving me with an 8, 11, and 12-year-old child to rear. And so just those broken pieces, living through a house burning down to the ground, and just going through all those adversities and calamities and challenges and overcoming those things and rebuilding a new life for myself and my family, and people seeing the process and going, whoa, okay, wow, you overcame that. Wow. And just seeing me be able to rebuild my life, it brings those type of people to help them to go ahead and do what was necessary to rebuild their lives and help them to know that, hey, we can do all things through Christ, which strengthens us. We can
Yes.
overcome any adversity, any obstacle that may manifest. We can overcome it. And so most people find me on my social presence. I'm what my mentor. I think it was probably about a couple of years ago. My coach was like, "You need to get more engaged on social media." I was like, "What? I'm not gonna do all that." And so as I began to do that, people began to respond. And then their desire for consistency through me. I don't post negative stuff. Oh, I got a headache. Oh, my stomach hurt. Oh, I don't post that kind of content. I post content of value adding. And because of that, it generates those relationships. It starts to build those relationships. And then, as time progresses, people start to hear. And the best advertising, you already know, is word of mouth.
Hmm.
Is word of mouth. And so that's the greatest tool I've had. If somebody say, "Hey, have you talked to P Coffee about that?" You might want to talk to P Coffee. She can help you with that, girl. And it goes from there. So yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Most of
Yeah.
the time people see me on the social media ministries.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's just powerful. And you've been so transparent. And a lot of times it's so funny because when people look at you, their first thought is not any of those things you just said. They think that, hey, that sister's got it together. She ain't been through nothing. She always got a smile on her face. And, she don't understand my problems because of what you look like. And what people
Right,
don't normally understand is, thank God I don't look like what I've been through. But that's because you've taken on that challenge, you've embraced it, and you've
right,
done the work to try to heal. And that way, in your healing, you know that it's possible. And so when someone comes to you and says, well, you don't understand because you're in a different place and I'm not where you are yet. Well, then guess what? I haven't always been here. And so the person that you see today is not the person you might have seen 10 years ago. And so now, because of that, I can show you what can transpire. And that's exactly what you've done. And so kudos to you, because there are so many people that give up on the first thing that haven't been through anything, and they give up so easily because they don't know where to turn. They don't know who to talk to. And like
right,
you said, sometimes we just have such that hood mentality that we turn to our friends, and then our friends edge us on. And if I was you, I'd do this, and girl, I wouldn't do that, and ain't nothing wrong with you. But a true friend, and like you said, it's about relationships, would say, "No, sister, something's going on. And whatever you need to do, I got your back and I'm going to help you through it." And so, who was that person in your life? Did you have someone in your life that helped you through that? Or was it just solely you that was able to pick yourself up and say, hey, I need to get some things taken care of in my life?
Well, actually, one of my biggest gifts is my godmother. One of my greatest gifts. She came into my life when I was about 19 years old. And she is the most non-judgmental, disciplinarian, loving human I've ever met. She's never been judgmental or critical. She would always look at the big picture of the scenarios and things like that. And if I need to be disciplined, she disciplined. If I need to be loved on, she loved on. If I needed to be, whatever I needed in that moment, she would provide that. And she would never try to overstep the boundaries of our relationship. And then as time progressed, I befriended a incredible counselor. And she and I have been friends for about 10 years. And so whenever I need to actually dive into something major, she helps me to get through those things. And then I had a church community for many, many years that, there was a lady, Rosemary Winbush. She actually is licensed. And so she was able to assist me at sundry times in my life. And then I got Martha Cooper Hudson, who is a great friend of mine, but she is a coach. She's a coach and she deals with women as far as helping women to see their greater being. So she was also instrumental in it. And then I had David E. Monetier and Hopes and Bugs. It was a series of people. Jason L. Scott first. I've been fortunate to be surrounded by generals. And I always did that on purpose because I always understood the closer I got to greatness, the easier it would become for me to become what I was with and who I was around and who I was
Mm-hmm.
involved with on a habitual basis. Tiffany Abrams Shelton. It was just several people who were in my immediate space who I was willing to glean and learn from and be disciplined by or redirected. People have an issue with corrective criticism. We all need to
Mm-hmm.
be redirected at certain times in our life. So, when you get redirected, it's not a crime to be redirected. And so a lot of people feel like, oh, I don't want, I mean, who are you? You can't tell me what to do. I'm grown. I'm grown. I wouldn't necessarily do that, even though sometimes I was apprehensive about certain things. Now you know how that goes in life. Some of us we're just apprehensive about changing, especially if we don't feel that it's a value. And so God would
Mm-hmm.
raise people in my life that would help me to see the value in making necessary adjustments. And then, in every area, I would have somebody who would help me in that particular area to become better. Even up to now, I still have mentors. I'm surrounded by coaches, surrounded. AD Roberts, I've been using him as a coach for probably 30 years. At least 30 years. Like since, yeah, well, actually, no, about 25. Let me correct myself, about 25 years. I was about
Mm-hmm.
20 years old when he and I crossed paths. And I've been literally using him every since, all the time. Like if I need something, like especially as I'm growing my business and branding myself and things like that, man, he will get me in check real quick. I don't even like to call him sometimes because I already know when I tell him what I've done, he gonna get me right. But nonetheless, the key is he's gonna get me right. And that's what the important
Yes.
part is, being open to it. And yeah, you gotta have people in your life that are, you gotta be surrounded by the right type of energies. And you
Mm-hmm.
is a great coach. If you get on there, Napoleon Hill, Ed Milet, Zig Ziglar, um, Earl Nightingale, Les Brown, Miles Monroe, TD Jakes. I mean, it's so many people. Joyce Myers, Sarah J.
Yes.
There's so many people that you can glean from intentionally. Even in business, I got Christopher Terry, Andrea Blackley, Dr. Spiller. It's several people. Jewel Tanker. You can find the right people if you seek them long enough, for sure. If you want it.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. And every person that you've named, it's like I've watched them over the years and how they've grown and how people that have been able to learn from them have grown. And so the thing is, we cannot be afraid
Mhm.
to think that anyone is better than us and say, oh, well, that's because that's them and they did it. But no, you can
Right.
learn from the best so
Right.
you can be your best. And that's my thought on anything. It's like, in order to do anything, you have to research it and you have to be willing to open yourself up to it. You have to be open to suggestions of what needs to change in your life to be able to step into what you want to do. And a lot of times we don't want to be told, like you said, we don't want to be told that something's going on. But I believe you love me if you can set me down and say, hey, this is what is going on. This is what
Right.
I see, because I can't step outside of myself and see some of my actions that I'm doing.
Mhm.
And if I'm around people enough that everybody is saying the same thing, then maybe I need to take heed and listen to what is being said and what's going on. And then step back, and it's not because they are trying to hurt me, but because they love me. Now, that's twofold, because it could be the opposite as well. It could be people that are trying to distract you from getting to your greatness, and
Mhm.
so they can tell you things. But that's why it's good to be around a circle of people that understand what it is to develop, what it is to pour into others and to give them goodness without holding someone back. The ones that I feel like try to hold you back, I call them gatekeepers. You don't want to
Mhm.
talk to those people. You
Exactly.
don't want to surround yourself with those people because they're not going to give you the right information or the right advice. But the ones that love you, that care, that have nothing to lose or to gain from you, but to just know that their gift is empowering others, they're going to do that. And so it's good because I tell people often that the church that we belong to is filled with educators.
Mhm.
And so it's so funny because you are like the 10 people you're around, right? And
Mhm.
so my mother dropped out of high school as a teenage mother and didn't graduate and worked jobs and just struggled for majority of her life. But when she did something different and she came to church with us and she started being around people that were different and she started being around educators, guess what she did? She went back to school. She
Mhm.
got her high school diploma. She has her own business now. And I'm just like, this is because you saw that, oh, these people are really no different than me. They just did this. And if they did it, I can do it too. And so she started believing herself because of the people she was surrounded by. And so,
Mhm.
I'm so proud of her. And I tell her, I said, it's so funny because you seem to think that I can do all these things, but you're my mother. You had me. And you seem to think that I've got all this knowledge and all this information, but it had to come from somewhere. It's stuff that you instilled in me because you sacrificed and you gave up some things so that I can have a better life. But you still, it's not too late for you to be able to do the things in life that you want to do. And so once I convinced her of that and she saw the people that she was around, she started to realize that I don't have to be ashamed that I didn't graduate. And it doesn't matter. I said, it doesn't matter how long it takes. You've got that piece of paper now. It's an actual diploma. And so it doesn't matter if you got it 45 years ago, if you got it now, you've got that paper and nobody can take that from you. But all you had to do was do it. And she was like, I can't believe that I was able to do this. Why not? Because you weren't around the right people that were helping you to know that you can do anything you put your mind through. And especially with Christ, he will give you that power to be able to do those things and to live your dream and fulfill your dream. But you've got to be around the right people. And that brings me to the mind, because like you said, the whole mind controls the body. And a lot of times, if we're at dis-ease, that will cause disease within our body. And so if we feel that our mind isn't right and we can't get our thoughts right and we think thoughts that aren't good and that we feel like, woe is me, or we're always in a funk, then that's going to put our body in that state. And, we talk about all the time how you're in a fight or flight type of situation. And so that can tense you up and that can make you uneasy and that can cause all kind of tension and that destroys relationships. So that's the next thing I want to talk to you about, as far as what do you see as far as what is the biggest effect that the mental has on relationships and how to keep those relationships strong and to bring them back together.
The biggest thing that we can do is to take care of ourselves. We can't control
There you go.
anybody, we can't change anybody. So, the greatest thing that we can do is to take care of ourselves. And that's the greatest power we can add to somebody else, where we can experience the mutual love, freedom, and respect that we are after in any relationship. Doesn't matter whether it's platonic, professional, or romantic. You want to experience that mutual love, freedom, and respect. And that comes with us being fully aware and fully engaged in our own journey, in our own process, and
Mm-hmm.
who we are in totality. And that comes with work. And once we're able to do that and we know who we are, we know what we want to experience by what we give to ourselves. That's something extremely important. What are you giving to yourself? We should never ask of others to give us something that we don't give to ourselves. And so once we get to that place, we can have super incredible relationships and we can enjoy the great things that love mutual love, freedom, and respect have to offer. So once we get to that space where we're totally at peace with ourselves, and we enjoy our own company, and we're totally fulfilled in life, we can add value to another life because we're not codependent, we're interdependent, and we're loving not only on ourselves, but we're loving on others equally. And people can experience great things as a result of having a relationship with us. And that's what the power is, as far as having our health intact, both naturally, spiritually, emotionally, financially, socially, all those things, to where we can add value to somebody else. So that's what we need to be focusing on, being able to be equipped to add value to not only ourselves but to others.
Yeah, and I agree with that because I feel like a lot of times we get into relationships searching for a missing piece that's within us, and we think that that other person is going to fulfill that void. But the thing is, if you don't know who you are and you don't know what you want, you can't give that to someone else, and you can't expect them to give you something that you don't have to give. And so that is awesome. I appreciate you coming on and being transparent and opening up and sharing your information, because there's people out there that think that they have to get to a certain level before they can do certain things. And I believe that you can start right where you're at. And so, what advice would you give to anyone that is in a place, especially with COVID going on right now? And who knows after tonight what's going to happen? I mean, there's so much anxiety and tension and things going on. And I know you voted because I saw you on your
Yes,
video today, and yes. And so I know people were
you said
anxious
that on all
about
my.
voting.
You see, I'm repping for the country, girl. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
yes. And that's the thing. People don't understand. It's like, we're still going to be okay. But what
absolutely.
advice do you give for people that are feeling anxious and not understanding what's going to happen tomorrow when we wake up? What advice would you give those people?
You know what? My dad said it best today. He said, it doesn't matter what happens tomorrow. It matters that we understand who's in control of tomorrow.
Yes.
And so I said, Dad, break that down. Break that down, Bishop. So, my dad was just saying we gotta remind ourselves of who holds the future and who is in control of this whole entire universe. And we got to stay focused on that. We stay focused on our creator, on God. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. Things
Absolutely.
are going to happen. Either way it goes, we're at a critical time in our nation's history. It doesn't matter who graces the stage of that White House tomorrow. It's going to be some issues. It's going to be some challenges, but at the same time, as long as we focus on who we know has the ultimate power to change anything, then we're going to be just fine. But we got to focus on what we need to focus on, and not focus our energy on negative things. And that's what
Hmm.
the challenges have been, is that people are focused on the negative instead of the positive. The fact that you are alive, you're breathing. Are you breathing? Can you put your hand in front? Are you feel air? Okay, you're breathing. Okay. Exhale, honey. Inhale.
Hmm.
Okay, take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. It's going to be what it is. It's out of our control. We did our part. Only thing you can do is pray, vote, and allow God to be who he is. Because the same way Obama was in office, God allowed Obama to be in. He's going to allow whoever is supposed to be in that office, they're going to be up in there. At
Hmm.
the end, that's not something that we can control. As long as we know that
Amen.
we did our part, we can live at peace knowing that, hey, I did my part, I went and I voted. And that's what's important. So when people have issues tomorrow, like, hey, your neighbor ain't vote. Your neighbors didn't do their part. So we just have to look at the bigger picture and just trust God. Everything rises and falls with our faith in God, in everything, in everything.
Absolutely. And if we read to the end, we already know he's got the victory. So there's nothing to worry about, right?
There it is.
So
There it is.
so I know how I found you.
Mhm.
But tell the people that don't know you, because I know you got a big following, but there's some that still don't know you yet. So tell the people that may not know you, or how to find you, how to get a hold of you, and to get some of your goodness.
Everything is under P Coffee Brown. All of my platforms are exactly the same. You want to find me, I'm super easy to find. My information is public. I don't live in the dark. I live in the light, Carol Ann. So you
Amen.
can find everything about me under P Coffee Brown. All my social platforms. We are in the midst of building out our website right now. We have an event in Jacksonville, Florida on November the 14th, our grand opening for our publishing house and the book signing from our book that we just did and the celebration of my 45th year of life. I know I look 37, but I'm getting ready to celebrate my 45th year of life. I'm super excited about that. And so we're going to do all that in Jacksonville, Florida, in the weekend of November the 14th. So that's going to be super exciting. But in the interim, you can find me again under everything P Coffee Brown, and that will be streamed live on my social platform as well. So you'll be able to see your girl in action.
All right, all right. Well, I thank you, and tell them where to get the book. Where can they get the book?
They can go on Amazon.com or they can go to Barnes and Noble. It's called Why He Married Her and Played Me.
Mm.
See
Ooh.
what he's thinking. It's pretty dope.
Mm. All right. You know, I know some people are switching right now, like, oh, I need to find that one.
Yeah, it's pretty dope. It's
Right.
pretty dope. I had 11 guys to come together in a collaboration to go ahead and put what I was thinking into the content of that book. So I'm super grateful to have spearheaded that project. So yeah. And our
Amen.
first project is The Race to the Ring, The 7 C's of a Successful Courtship. So that book is out as well on Amazon.
All right, all right. Well, you heard it. So we have been tonight with P. Coffee Brown, who has came and gave us information on why we should get on the couch, not just the couch that's in our living room, not sitting there watching the stories and eating bonbons or potato chips or whatever it is. Get off that couch and go get on the couch where somebody can help you, where somebody can talk to you, where somebody can pour into you and uplift you in a way that will transform your total being. It's okay if you're going through something. It's okay if you have anxiety or depression or if you get nervous or you get upset, but it's not okay to keep yourself there. It's not okay to stay in a place, in a state, to be dormant. That's not what you were created for. You were created with a purpose and there's a plan for your life. So get up and go seek help. Do whatever it takes so that you can be the best you that you were created to be. And then by you being the best you can help somebody else be better. So thank you for joining us tonight. We will be back tomorrow with Marriage and Ministry, where the Reverend Clarence Alexander and First Lady Dawn will be with us. And then we'll be back on Thursday with Mind Your Business with special guest Tanisha. I thank you so much for the time that you've taken out to come to this live stream. And I wish you the best on everything that you do. God is truly blessing you, and everything you touch, I'm sure is going to turn to gold because you got that black girl magic popping off. And you know, we're blessed by the best. So
Absolutely.
continue to do what you do, continue to pour into others, and what you do to others is definitely shining through, and we see the light of the Lord all over you. So thank
Awesome.
you. And everybody out there, until next time, remember you were created with a purpose. God bless you. Coffee, stay with me for just a minute.
All right.